Hey all! Welcome to Devo's with Michael. This is episode 1 and we'll see how many we get to. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to virtually spending some time with you guys. And I invite you to read along, to think about some of the stuff that I'll be reading too, and join with me in maybe evaluating, taking this time to reflect and evaluate our lifestyle choices and our lives. Often moments like these, where we're forced to slow down, we have an option whether we just try distracting ourselves and continuing to not deal with some stuff that is important and we need to deal with in our lives, or we can choose to reflect and to reground ourselves and refocus on what counts. And so I've not been perfect with that in the last week or whatever it's been now. Honestly, I wish I would have spent. I can honestly say that I wish I could have spent more time doing stuff like this. But a lot of the time, I have wasted some time too, and maybe you can relate. But the good news is we still have more time. We're still in the situation, and so let's take some moments to reflect and look into what God has to say about us and about who He is. And so, yeah, I invite you to join with me. Fire me questions, and I'll try to respond to them either through text or email, or maybe in a future video. Maybe we can delve into some of those topics. So if you have suggestions or you have questions about life, I love to respond to those. So let me know. Before we dig into it, I just wanted to say thanks so much for your submissions with the challenges. They've been amazing. Keep it up and share with each other or ask each other for each other's submissions, because I'm not sharing anything other than the winners right now. But I know some of you are curious about the other people's submissions, so ask for them. I'm sure people are willing to share. So keep doing that. So the passage of scripture for today is Luke 12:22 to 34. It's a fairly common passage, but it's in response. A quick recap from youth. A couple weeks back, we talked about trust. We looked at some trust videos, people falling backwards off of buildings into nets, and all sorts of stuff like that. And we ended with the whole thing of it's a lot easier to say, Jesus, take the wheel, and not to actually give Him that control. But actual trust is saying, God, you can take the wheel, and I'm going to trust that you are guiding my life, and I'm going to trust that you know what's best for me, and that might be different than what I want or what I think is best, but I'm going to trust you that you are guiding me. And just to lean into that, to put your weight on God, not on yourself or your situation, because that can change all the time, as we know. So this is on the flip side of trust. We're talking about worry today. So Luke 12:22 to 34. Then Jesus said to His disciples, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, or about your body, what you will wear. For life is more than food, and the body more than clothes. Consider the ravens. They do not sow or reap. They have no storeroom or barn, yet God feeds them. And how much more valuable you are than birds. Who of you by worrying can add a single hour to your life? Since you cannot do this very little thing, why do you worry about the rest? Consider how the wildflowers grow. They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you, not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today, and then tomorrow is thrown into the fire, how much more will He clothe you, you of little faith? And do not set your heart on what you will eat or drink. Do not worry about it, for the pagan world runs after all such things, and your Father knows that you need them. But seek His kingdom, and these things will be given to you as well. Do not be afraid, little flock, for your Father has been pleased to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give to the poor. Provide purses for yourselves that will not wear out, a treasure in heaven that will never fail, where no thief comes near and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." And so, just a few questions, and I'm going to leave with you about this, is Jesus, this is Jesus speaking, by the way. He's speaking to his disciples primarily, even the people who are supposed to know the most about him and about God. He's speaking this directly to them, and talking about not worrying about the physical stuff, which is so easy to get wrapped up on. But he says, think about it. God takes care of the animals, and aren't you not more valuable than they are? And can anyone really add a moment to your life by worrying? So the question is what are you worrying about? Anything? Is any of that controlling you? And then maybe to take that a step further, what are you setting your heart on? Because it's easy to set our heart, maybe not on food. I mean, sometimes we set our minds on food, right? Oh man, I want this burger, I want this poutine, right? That's relatable. But what are we setting our hearts on? What is driving our lives right now? This is a great opportunity to look at that. As things are kind of taken away from us, we get to look at what's left. So what is driving you? What do you want from life? What do you think is your purpose? And where do you find your security? And a lot of people find a security in food and in clothing, which it's understandable, but Jesus is encouraging us to look past the physical needs and to know that God is going to take care of those. And so then we don't have to worry about it. We can work towards it. We can do what we've been given. We can use our physical abilities to get a job and all that. But some things are out of our hands, and not to worry about that, and know that God's working all things for the good of those who love him. Different than maybe what we think is the best, but God is working all things for his good, for our good, because he knows what's best for us. So let's trust that. And final application is to not be afraid and to actually look past our own fears and our needs. Some of them are our needs maybe, but to look to the needs of others and to actually be countercultural right now while everybody else is hoarding and everybody else is just thinking about priority number one, which is themselves. Let us actually be children of God and look to the needs of others, maybe even before ourselves, to take care of our needs, but to look to the needs of others and to care for them. Maybe I'm freaking out, but to maybe, deal with that, but then to ask the question, man, I think this person's freaking out. How can I listen to you, or stuff like that? Or maybe physically, you're thinking, oh man, I need to grab all this stuff for myself, but to reach out and think, is there someone else that doesn't have these things that I could be giving to? Maybe to stop right there and stop hoarding, but to maybe look to the needs of others. It says very directly, sell your possessions and give to the poor. Provide purses for yourselves that will not wear out, which he's referring to a treasure in heaven that will never fail, where no thief comes near and no moth destroys. And ultimately, the reason why he's saying all these things is in the last verse. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And that's what God cares about the most, is where is your heart? What drives you? What do you seek? And so think about some of those questions. Think about what drives you. And really battle with that. So that's what I'm going to leave with you. Where is the treasure of your heart? All right. Well, thanks for joining me this little time. Take care, and I look forward to more challenges and maybe some more Devos yet. All right. Adios. Have a good evening.